Shalom, my sweetest friends. Hope you're having a beautiful day so far. Today is Story Sunday, so got a story for you. It comes from about 20 plus years ago. I was early in the military and I was just finishing up one assignment. I came to Randolph Air Force Base in San Antonio, Texas, and I'm called to the education office. I go to the education office. There's a nice lady there sitting and saying, hey, I just want to know, do you want the GI Bill? So this is her whole job. All she has to do, at least from me right now, is get a yes or a no and a signature. And if she gets a yes, great. And if she gets a no, great. It doesn't really matter to her at all. So this woman kind of goes above and beyond in doing her job. All that to say, she asked me if I want the GI Bill. I was like, what's the GI Bill? She's like, it's the thing where you can get your master's, you can get other things. And I was like, no, thank you. I don't like education. I'm done. I did my undergrad already. I'm done with school. I'll never do it again. Dyslexic. I don't like to read. No, thank you. No, thank you. So she's like, well, what about like a trade school? She's like, you could go and learn to be a mechanic and do this. And I was like, no, thank you. And she's like, it's only $1,000. And I was just like, $1,000, that's a lot for me right now. And so she continues to kind of ask all these different questions, and finally she's like, what about family? Like, do you think you're gonna have children? I was like, I don't even know if I'm gonna get married. I don't even know if I want to be married. And so it's all these different things. So ultimately, she finally just asks me, she's like, look, is there a 1% chance that you might actually go to school or have children? And I was like, well, 1% chance? I was like, there's a 1% chance of almost anything. And she's like, fine. She's like, then buy this. And I was like, fine. I was like annoyed. I was like, why don't you just let me go? Like, what's the deal? Like, just let me sign the paper and let me be gone. So fast forward about 15 years, and my wife and I are talking about making Aliyah. And there's this idea. I was like, if we're going to make Aliyah, I was like, I'd like to go learn in yeshiva for a little while. And she's like, well, guess what? Or Sameach takes the GI Bill. She's like, you could use the GI Bill. And I was like, oh, amazing. So all in all, right? Total, and along with that, I forgot, even before we made Aliyah, I did end up going back and getting my master's in social work, so I got a LCSW, and so I got both those things, my number one, my LCSW, and then also another year in yeshiva paid for, all by the U.S. government. I think in total, it's definitely more than $100,000 total. Along with the stipend that you get for living and everything else. It was like amazing. Best investment I ever made in my life. But I did it almost at my own demise, right? I didn't want it. I thought it was a horrible investment. Like, I'm going to waste $1,000. Ended up being that I ended up making a ton of money in comparison. So all that to say, sometimes God is right there with us, even when we're annoyed or when we're bothered or when we're going through a difficult time and we don't even know it. He's like trying to bless us and we're sitting there like, no, I don't want this. And you see the same thing in this week's Parsha with Yaakov, right? Yaakov's in this difficult time. He's being sent to his uncle, Lavan, and he's going to have this difficult time there. And all of a sudden, he gets caught up. And there's this a dream, and he's got a ladder with angels coming up and down, and he's like, oh my goodness, I'm in this place, and I didn't even know that God's presence was with me. And I think that's the key there. Oftentimes, we're going through all kinds of difficulties or annoyances, as in my case, and God is still present with us. And so I guess that's my encouragement. If you see yourself going through a struggling time, difficult time, whether it's like Yaakov being kicked out of your own house, or whether it was something, a minor annoyance, kind of like what I went through, either way, oftentimes God is right there. And it's only hindsight, maybe 2020 later on, where you're actually going to see, wow, God was totally taking care of me. So hopefully we can try and see a little bit before we have to look back. We can see it now and go, okay, God, I know there's something going on here. I'm just going to trust you and go with it. So hope that's a benefit to you. Hope you have a beautiful day. Take care of yourselves and take care of others.